we're starting our lectures for our lesson for JAMB and WAEC 2022. Next year, we are started in time, okay? So simply get to our platform, educateafricans.com/courses. You see all the courses. We are in chemistry, JAMB and WAEC. So that is the course we are looking at, chemistry, JAMB and WAEC. Okay, once you're there, scroll down, click on enroll. Like I say, you have to be registered in order for you to be logged in to see the courses, okay? So let's take the courses one by one. On this our platform, you have both the video and the text-based class. So let's quickly get there and let's have this lecture this morning. We don't have much time. We need to prepare in time. In order to get 300 and above in your JAMB and 9A1, you have to just start practicing in time. If you have any questions on the lectures, please drop them in the comment section. If you're watching us on YouTube, in the comment section of the YouTube. If you're watching with Facebook, the same thing, comment section of the Facebook. It will get to us and we'll answer you. Okay. Okay, continue course. Okay, then you scroll down, you're gonna see the different courses. So you see everything is already arranged for you in line. So the whole curriculum for chemistry is organized in a very good way. Okay. So let's start this class. So we have both the text and the video based. So I'm gonna start with the video based first.
In Nigeria here, the major income that we get is from our crude oil. So how do we turn?
Oh yeah, so please let's pay attention.
Chemistry is a very, very important subject, and that is why we study it in secondary schools. What are the uses of chemistry? Why do we study chemistry? What are those things that we can use chemistry to do? If you want to grow food in the farm, we need fertilizers to help our crops to grow very well and in a very healthy form. We also need insecticides to kill the weeds so that they don't disturb our crops. So in order for us to grow food, we need chemicals, because it is with these chemicals that we make the fertilizer as well as the insecticides. If we want to build house, we need concrete, we need cement, we need tiles. All these things are made from some chemicals. So we need to study them in chemistry. In military and space travel, we need to manufacture ammunitions. The gunpowder and the ammunition that we need for our military, we also need chemistry to know the way to produce them. In medicine and in pharmaceuticals, where we produce drugs, we need to know the right chemicals to mix together in order to get the right effect. So all these things are the uses of chemistry. And as a way of getting down your notes, I have them outlined on the board. Uses of chemistry. Food. In order to have food, you need fertilizers in your farm so that our crops can grow very well. And we also need insecticide to kill the weeds. Clothing. In order for us to manufacture have good textile and fiber production, we need to know how to make the chemicals that are used for this. In our military and space science, we need to manufacture ammunition. So how do we go about it? The knowledge of chemistry helps us in the manufacture or production of ammunition. And in space science, we need to know chemistry in order for us to explore very well the outer space and the planets. For housing, we need cement. So what are those chemicals that we use in producing cement? We also need concrete, steel, tiles, and other things. Then in medicine, for us to produce drugs so that we can live healthily, we need to know the components of these drugs, and that is chemistry. For transportation, We need to know the right fuels to use and how to make this fuel, how to do fractional distillation. In Nigeria here, the major income that we get is from our crude oil. So how do we turn this our crude oil to final products like PMS and diesel? We need the knowledge of fractional distillation, separation, and that is chemistry. So we also need chemistry to produce alloys. An alloy is a combination of metal that can make it very, very effective for use in producing automobiles because it brings out the best quality in those metals whenever they are combined. So chemistry can be used in all these areas in life: food production, clothing production, military and space science, housing, medicine, and transportation. And that is why we learn chemistry. So chemistry is a very, very important aspect, or is a very, very important pure science.
Okay, that was the uses of chemistry, but before that, we should know the meaning of chemistry and what chemistry is all about. So let's take a look at that. Let's take a look at that.
All the processes that every pure science go through.
Okay, please listen up.
Chemistry is a pure science that deals with the composition, properties, and uses of matter. In our everyday life, we encounter chemistry, and that is why chemistry is very, very important for us to study. Chemistry is one of the pure sciences that we are supposed to study if we are to be writing WAEC, NACEP, or JAMB. The others are biology and physics. So why do we study chemistry? You have a palm wine. When the palm wine is freshly gotten from the palm tree, it tastes very sweet, but after some time, it sours. So what makes the palm wine to sour? Chemistry. You have a nail. A newly bought nail or a newly made nail is normally very shiny, but after some time, the nail gets rusted and looks exactly like this. What causes the rusting? Chemistry. When you're sick, you buy drugs, you take drugs. So, what are the elements or compounds that make up the drugs? So that when you take them into your body, they function effectively in order to make you to get well. The process of making these drugs is also chemistry. So there are plenty things in life, in our everyday life, that has to do with chemistry, and that's why we study chemistry. So as a way of introduction, we are going to be looking at the definition of chemistry. Chemistry is a pure science that deals with the composition. What are the makeup components of the drugs that we take? The chemicals that we use, the detergents. What is the composition? What are those elements that come together to make it up? Properties. How does these chemicals, how do the chemicals, how do they react? What are their properties? And uses. What and what can they be used for? So chemistry is a pure science that deals with the composition, properties, and the uses of matter. Matter is anything that has mass and occupies space, just like the chemicals that we're talking about. So now, in our everyday life, we encounter chemistry. So what are those things that happen in life that are actually chemistry? We'll talk about making palm wine sour, just like I showed you earlier. Rusting of nails, just like I showed you earlier. And drugs production, how you go about producing your drug. Also, the process of cooking our food, lighting matches, and burning of firewood. All these are chemistry happening in nature. So in time, we are going to be studying all these in details, and that is chemistry. So when they ask you in class, why are you studying chemistry? You study chemistry because you want to understand all these that happen in your everyday life. And chemistry is a pure science because it goes through the normal process that every science, every pure science goes through in its study, such as observation, carrying out of experiment, formulation of hypotheses, formulation of laws, and taking down records. So all the processes that every pure science goes through.
Okay, so you can see that is introduction to chemistry. We've looked at the uses of chemistry. So let's look at the adverse effects of chemistry. We are covering a whole lot today. If you're missing today's class, then you're missing. If you want to miss, then you're missing. And if you're missing, then you're missing. Okay, so what are
Alloying,
those bad things about chemistry?
coating.
Let's look at the bad things about chemistry. It's not everything good, good. What are the bad things about chemistry?
Chemistry is very, very important for us to survive as human beings in life. But at the same time, chemical processes also affects human being and the environment adversely. There are some chemical processes that harm the environment. Example, pollution. When chemical waste from oil industries, like we have in the Niger Delta, when these wastes are discharged inappropriately, maybe through gas flaring or discharge due to pipeline being damaged, this can cause very, very harmful effect to the environment. When there is oil spillage, the chemicals in the oil are not very friendly to the animals or animals that are in the water. The aquatic life are adversely affected. Also, when you do oil flaring or gas flaring, these gases that are discharged into the atmosphere are not very good to the environment. If you go to some states, you find out that people are taking cocaine, morphine, and heroin. Youths are addicted to this and they continue to take it, and it's not good to their health. That is abuse of chemistry, and it's also called drug abuse specifically. Also, corrosion of iron makes the iron not to be glittery and to look good the way we would have wanted it to, or the way we would have wanted to be looking. All these are adverse effects of chemistry, and they need to be checked. In other words, government has to bring down strict laws in the manufacture and transportation of these drugs that are not good, drugs like cocaine, morphine, or heroin. There has to also be strict laws on gas flaring. Chemical waste from oil industries has to be discharged in the proper way. There has to be good education to the youths so that they will know how to use drugs. And corrosion can also be prevented by using alloy and cathodic protection. So, as a way of the adverse effects of chemistry are corrosion of iron, rusting in the presence of water and oxygen. For rusting to take place, there has to be water and oxygen. And this corrosion of iron can be prevented by alloying, coating, cathodic protection, and use of sacrificial metal. Pollution, which is caused by chemical waste from factories and oil refineries. They actually pollute the environment and harm living things. How do we check this? By having or doing safe discharge of this waste and treating them actually before you discharge. If you treat the waste before you discharge into the water bodies, they will be less harmful or even non-harmful. Drug abuse, when people are addicted to drugs like heroin, cocaine, morphine, it can damage their health. And this drug abuse is very, very dangerous to human life. And for us to check this, we need strict laws, and we need to educate the people that are taking it that it is not good for them. So you see these three adverse effects of chemistry, and you see how to prevent them or check them attached to them. So WAEC may ask you such questions. How do we take care of corrosion? By alloying, coating, cathodic protection, and use of sacrificial metal. How do we take care of pollution? By making sure that the waste are safely discharged and treated before discharging. How do we take care of drug abuse? By enacting strict laws and also educating the populace. So that is the adverse effects of chemistry and how they can be controlled or checked.
Okay, that is the adverse effects of chemistry. You can see this is the platform you should be in. The lectures are descriptively explained, okay? So let's look at careers in chemistry. See, this is according to your curriculum, like even more than what you have in your curriculum, like everything is so taken care of. So let's look at careers in chemistry now.
They can also work in the agricultural sector.
So let's pay attention.
When you study chemistry, you want to get a job after studying chemistry, maybe in the university, you come out, you want to get a job. What are those job opportunities that are available for people with the knowledge of chemistry? Where can somebody that studied chemistry work? Where can he or she get employment? There are many places that somebody that studied chemistry can work. You can work in the oil industry. Nigeria has plenty oil industry companies in Lagos and in Port Harcourt. You can work in any of those places if you have the knowledge of chemistry. You can also work in food processing industries. Those industries that make milk, canned food, you can work with them. You can also work in the industry that give health services, the pharmaceuticals. Those pharmacists, they have knowledge of chemistry, so they can work in pharmaceuticals. They can also work as